everybody? Welcome back to Play by Play with Jay. I'm your host, Jordan, aka Jay, and thank you for tuning in to my episode 5. If you're a new listener, a new subscriber, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to go back and check out all my old episodes. If you're already a current subscriber or active listener, thank you guys for tuning in. And let's get right into this episode. So, the All-Star Game was this past weekend, and I had completely forgotten about it. It just, like I critiqued it during my first episode, what the expectation for it was going to be. Now I'm going to sit and critique the game itself, or how they pulled it off. I would give it a 3 out of 10. This was the most underwhelming All-Star Game by far. I would have rather them canceled it, just let the players have a weekend off or something like that. Like, I don't know. Just really quick, I didn't like what I'm used to. Each event having its own day, its own night for it, the broadcasting leading up to it. It was none of that. I didn't know how they were going to do things until Sunday when I watched. I had missed the skills challenge because I was watching Coming to America. So if you haven't seen Coming to America, go check that out. It was actually pretty good. It was actually a pretty good movie. It was a nice little 30-year update. I think people are being too hard on it. So go check out the movie for yourself if you want to go see. But anyway, I missed the skills challenge, and then I turned it on, and then I'm seeing the 3-point contest, and I'm like, wait a second, because usually it's skills challenge Friday, 3-point contest and dunk contest Saturday, if I'm correct, and then All-Star Game on Sunday. That's usually the order. This year they did skills challenge in the pregame show, they did the 3-point challenge in the pregame show, and then they did the dunk contest at halftime. I don't know. I just didn't like that. I don't know if it's because I'm not liking the new change of the system. I'm not sure if they did it that way because of COVID and just to limit the amount of people in the gym. I truly have no idea. But I just personally, as a consumer, as a fan of basketball and the All-Star Game, I just didn't like it. Personally, I just didn't like it. And like I said, I didn't see the skills challenge, but the 3-point contest was low-key pretty interesting. Like, the way Steph Curry won it, he could have lost to Mike Conley. So that was kind of entertaining to see. But again, it wasn't too much competition in the 3-point challenge either. Like, why was Jaylen Brown in the 3-point contest? He doesn't even, what? Why? I understand that I think Dame didn't want to participate, but Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum versus Steph Curry? And Mike Conley? Are you kidding me? Come on. If you could have had Dame, even up the competition just a little bit, convince him to play somehow, but I get it. He wanted to rest. I understand that. Only wanted to play in the All-Star Game. The All-Star Game itself was cool. It was cool. Oh, I went too far. The dunk contest. Weakest dunk contest we've ever had. And this is no shade. Shout out to Anthony Simons who won it. I think he's one of the youngest to win it at 21. But no shade, his dunks were weak. I didn't find myself in awe. And I don't know if that's because we've seen so much creativity over the years, but I was just like, you can go to the local playground and see people doing the same dunks that y'all doing. We've seen people jump over cars. We've seen people blow candles out and then dunk it. We've seen people dunk 2 balls at once. We've seen people jump from the free throw line. So, those basic dunks did not excite me. I was very, the word of the day, I guess, is underwhelmed by that dunk contest, and that's one of my favorite events. So I just, overall, All-Star Weekend, like I said, 3 out of 10. The most exciting thing was the game, and even then, it was just because KD was, he's still resting. He didn't play in it, so it was just LeBron and all his children running around on the court. It was, I guess that was nice to see, but, so I don't know what they're going to do for next year. Like I said, I don't know if this was a whole 2021 COVID-regulated All-Star Game. I'm not sure, but it was just all right. It's just all right. Now, the next thing we're talking about is Paige Becker. Most people probably don't know that name, but if you know, you know. So Paige Becker is currently a freshman at the University of Connecticut. She plays for their women's basketball team under the leadership of the notorious Gino Auriemma, one of the greatest basketball coaches of all time. Period. There's no greatest women's one of the greatest basketball coaches of all time. You could be specific and say he's one of the greatest college basketball coaches of all time. That's fair. I'll let you have that. But nonetheless, still one of the greatest coaches of all time. But really quick, let's talk about, well, first of all, let me backtrack. I've been following UConn women's basketball since as long as I can remember. And as long as I can remember, they've been good, right? Brianna Stewart, another name that might ring a bell for some people. Diana Taurasi, Maya Moore. There's a lot of players I could keep naming who have gone through UConn, but I named Brianna Stewart because she was on that last team about, not this past year. She's been in the league now for about 2 to 3 years. But when she was in college, right, for all 4 years she was in college, they never lost a game. Not a scrimmage, not a practice game. They didn't lose a game. How do you go 4 years without losing a game? That kind of dynasty, that kind of, and it wasn't like, don't get it twisted, it's not like they're not playing competition. No, they're playing South Carolina. You know, they're playing Baylor, they're playing Notre Dame, they're playing these other elite schools, but they're just better. Now, is it like any other school, like in men's college basketball where the top recruits are going to UConn? Yes, absolutely. They are getting the best talent, but they had to create that, just like Alabama football, they had to create that dynasty first in order to start bringing in these elite players who want to, you want to play for them and want to play for Geno, want to play for Nick Saban or whoever, want to play for John Calipari. You had to create that dynasty first. So UConn's been it, but Paige Becker, she's a freshman, right? And this is another sidebar, but I hate how in men's college basketball, they're allowed to be one and done. So that means go play NCAA for a year, and then you can declare for the draft if you feel like you're ready to do so. In women's basketball, you have to stay for at least 3 years, just like in college football. In college football, you can't be one and done. You have to stay for 3 years, and then you can declare for the draft. Women's college basketball is the same way. For what? For what? If I'm good my freshman year, I should be able to, and if I don't want to have a professional career outside of my sport, I should be allowed, just like the men, to declare for the draft after my freshman year. So now I'm saying this to say Paige Becker is as good as she is, not necessarily saying that she would be a dominant force in the WNBA right now. She could still get drafted, go to a team, and learn under these women right now, and then be, trained and groomed, and then be elite as time progresses. But y'all gonna make her sit and just dog up on this collegiate competition for 2 more years? For what? For fun? Y'all want to see her run up the stats, get more awards? I guess. But, so Paige just won both the Big East Player of the Year and the Big East Tournament Player of the Year. This is the 9th time that someone's done it, but it's the first time that a freshman has done it. So shout out to you, Paige. She's a beast. She's the next Brianna Stewart, truth be told. I see a lot of similarities in their game, in the way that they can take over, their leadership, different positions. Brianna, generally will play on the paint, or the post. Paige is a point guard, so she controls the offense. She runs the floor. But I'm happy for her. I'm happy to see women out here eating and just doing their thing in their lane. She leads the Huskies right now, and I was kind of mad because I'm looking up her stats, trying to get the details. They don't even have them up. Probably because they're still playing. The tournament, March Madness, is getting ready to start sometime next week or a week after. So I guess I don't know what they're going to do, but they should have her stats up there, so I don't know why they don't. But nonetheless, she leads the Huskies in points, assists, steals, and three-point field goal percentage. So she leads that team. That team is hers. I don't think they've lost a game this year. They might be around 19-0, 20-0 this year, and that's excluding tournament play, I think. But I just want to see how much they win in the next couple years with her, because they're going to keep bringing in those trophies. Now, let's talk about Clarissa Shields. Now, I'm not going to lie. I had never heard about this name, never heard of her before, any of that before about sometime last week. So she's from Flint, Michigan, and she is a boxer. Now, she's the first boxer, male or female, to become the undisputed champion in 2 divisions in the 4-belt era. And she's 11-0 with 2 knockouts. Now, that might sound like a lot of gibberish to some people. And truth be told, it kind of sounds a little bit like that to me, just because I'm not an active boxing watcher. I don't necessarily understand everything about boxing, but I do know this. 11-0 means she hasn't lost, and 2 knockouts means she mink.
Referee took all I can take. Time for me to hibernate. He done hit me all in my noggin. It's time for me to log off. Ref, check his gloves for sleeping drugs. I'm comatose.
And for her to be the first boxer, man or woman, to become the undisputed champion, I mean, I just had to shout her out. I think that that's a really big deal. Shout out to her. That's huge. See, the reason why I can't really go into depth like I really want to is because I don't know the significance of the 4-belt era in boxing. I don't understand the significance of that, but I'm going to acknowledge that I don't understand it, but I still wanted to appreciate her greatness. The only thing that I had a question about, and I guess this is why some of my family or my friends are like, well, you should do sometimes like call-ins or like have a live panel or something, because I kind of have a question. And so if you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to leave a comment. If you're listening to this, feel free to send me a text or like make a note of it and say it to me next time you see me or talk to me. How do we feel about athletes who self-proclaim themselves as the GOAT? She considers herself, and I went to her Instagram just to see, she's very boastful. I hope that's the right word. She is not shy about her greatness. She isn't shy. She literally talks about how great she is and all that she's done, and she has this hashtag running. It says GWOAT, GWOAT. So I'm assuming that means the greatest woman of all time, or the greatest GW. That's the only thing I can think of it would mean, like, you know, just putting the W in there for the woman. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if it's because I'm in sports, I've always been a more humble person. Like, I've always been the type where I'm gonna let my skills speak for themselves. I don't have to say anything. But she's in the position, and I guess we're in this new social media age too. And I guess maybe that, I don't want to call it cockiness. I guess because it might not feel cocky to her. Or maybe it will. I don't know. But I'll rephrase it. I think her confidence or the bravado can come off as arrogance, but also does it only come off as arrogance if the person isn't that good? Or does the shoe fit if you've earned it? So for example, when LeBron, when he won the 4th title and he came out and said, you know, give me my dang respect, he wasn't commending himself as the GOAT. He was just asking for respect and all that he's done. But if he ever came out and said, yeah, I'm the GOAT, I don't know how that would be received. Now, I don't think that she cares about critics or people. It's just a true question, like a true dialogue that I wanted to have. Like, how do we feel about people considering themselves to be the GOAT? I don't think there's anything wrong with it if you've earned it. And I guess in her case, she's earned it. So what am I even talking about? I mean, it's just a thought. My brain, this is like, if you don't remember, this is a podcast of my inner thoughts. So right now, we're just going through what's going through in my head. I just genuinely was curious, I guess, to say the least. But again, shout out to Clarissa Shields. She's from Flint, Michigan. I think not her claim to fame, but something she talks about, just like I do as well, where she's from. She says that she's a young black girl from Flint, Michigan. A lot of other athletes do that, like Draymond Green's from Flint, Michigan. I think Kyle Kuzma is also from Flint, Michigan, and they'll always proclaim it. And just like everybody should rep where they're from. KD reps PG County. I always rep PG County. It doesn't matter where I am or who I'm with. I'm PG County to the day that I die. So I understand that. And just probably coming from a place where people either wrote you off or counted you out, or you just come from an area where people don't expect you to be successful, and then you go out there and you thrive at the highest level and then some. So shout out to her. That's huge. That's huge. And the last topic we're going to talk about today is Maya Shaka. So she made history about sometime late last week as the first black woman to be named to the NFL's officiating staff. But I have a message for you, NFL, Roger Goodell, and all your little ownership executive minions who are under your mind control. Do not put her on a game scheduled at 1 o'clock, the Jaguars versus the Jets. Don't you do it. I will set a riot. I want to see her America's Game of the Week, Sunday at 4:30. I want to see her, it's not going to happen right away, I know it won't. A Sunday night football game, Cowboys versus Giants. I want to see her prime time on my TV screen, whether she's making good calls, whether she's making bad calls. I want to see her making calls in that Foot Locker white and black shirt on my TV screen, prime time. Give her some time, give her some go. Don't elevate her in this position just to then keep her in the back seat. No. Those days are over. We don't want that. I don't want that, okay? I want to see her reffing some good games, decent games. Give her some time. Give her a chance. You know, I think oftentimes we get put in these positions of elevation, and then they're still just using us as a pawn, or using us as a chess piece, or just using us for decoration or affirmative action. No. All that needs to stop. Let her do a primetime game. Let her referee Patty Mahomes one good time. Pat Mahomes versus the Buccaneers or something. They won't do that. But I'm just wishfully thinking. But I'm just super excited that every day it feels like we're just making history. History is being made. I feel like every day there's something new to celebrate, and I feel like in spite of all that's going on, and whatever was going on in your world, there's still a silver lining. And I think for me, I can find that silver lining through sports. I can find that silver lining through things that I'm interested in. But go find your silver lining. Like, I think that's what today's going to be about, the overall message. Go find your silver lining. Go find something that, in spite of all the nonsense, the chaos, the noise, still makes you smile. For me, that's sitting down and watching ESPN and seeing a black woman on my TV screen. But that's just me. Yours might be going out for a walk. Go take that walk. Yours might be taking a nap. Go take that nap. Go do whatever it is that's going to make you happy today, this week, and forever. So that's it. A little inspirational message to end the episode today. I didn't want this one to be too long because next week I'm going to have my boy Deshaun on here. If you never met him and never heard me say that name, he is one of my best friends. And he's the only person who can really get into March Madness with me the way that I get into it. We are like crazy people. We'll sit and just watch college basketball day after day, studying these teams, because it's truthfully hard to stay in touch with college basketball like that, because the players they're constantly rotating out. Some get drafted, some don't get drafted and come back, some transfer, so you just got to stay afloat every single year. So every year, we go through this whole studying phase, trying to learn the teams, learn their concepts, learn the players, and then see who will be the best picks for our bracket. So Selection Sunday is it this Sunday or is it next Sunday? Let's get the details, because I might be speaking preemptively. No, Selection Sunday is on Sunday. Yep, March 14th. So this upcoming Sunday, March 14th, Selection Sunday. That's when they're going to list all the teams in the bracket, where they actually fall, including the seeding. And then we're going to come back for the episode next Wednesday, and we're going to give you guys our projected bracket. One of many. We make multiple brackets every year, like I said last week. But this is just going to be, we're just going to do one for you guys. We're going to have the share screen going line by line, and just talking some of our picks out and some of our reasonings for that. So that's going to be exciting. I hope you guys will tune into that next week. One last thing that I have been trying to remind myself to mention the last few weeks and just have been forgetting completely. If you are a black-owned business, if your friend has a black-owned business, or if you have a favorite black-owned business, let me know. Leave a comment. Just talk to me. Let me know. I've been trying to be. I'm not wearing a black-owned business right now, but I'm wearing something about a black-owned business or industry. Dreamville, J. Cole's group. I love their album, by the way, Revenge of the Dreamers 3. It was one of my favorite albums of last year. But anyway, I've been trying to be more intentional with how I'm spending my dollar. Trying to figure out ways to funnel it back into the black community instead of supporting some companies or people who don't necessarily support me or my values. So for example, I just bought candles from a black-owned company last week. I've been trying to, I love hoodie season. That's my favorite time of the year. So I was trying to buy some more hoodies by black-owned people in the fall and the winter time. So if you have anything, let me know. I love to support. I love to show off or just wear the brand in my episode. Last week, I was wearing Son of Man by John from High Calling Ministries. I love that hoodie. I wear it every day. But I said, let's wear it during the episode so people can see it and be like, oh, what is that? So just a perfect example. So if you have anything, any suggestions, let me know. Play by Play with Jay is a 100% supporter of all black-owned businesses and black-owned industries, and I wanted to make that known as well. So give me your suggestions or anything that you want me to support or try and do a little review on. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for tuning into my episode 5. I hope you tune in next week to episode 6. It's going to be a good one. But I'm your host, Jordan, aka Jay, giving you the play-by-play each and every week. Peace.